Here's a question we get quite a bit about ownership of a vehicle, and the question is, who does the car belong to? The one that has the title or who paid for it? And the scenario usually goes something like this. Somebody had a car that they were driving, they made the payments on, but it was actually in somebody else's name. And sometimes the reason it was in somebody else's name had to do with they had bad credit and the other person put it in their name. Sometimes it's a parent and child, son or daughter, like in this case, where they were driving it, but they had poor auto insurance claims, so the father put it in his name, right? But the kid, Jeb, paid all the expenses, including reimbursing for the insurance premium, and paid all the car payments, and now the car's paid off. Who gets the car? It's a very common question. According to the DMV only goes by whose name is on the title, right? So in this case, it talks about the Maryland Code of Transportation defines it as a person who has property in or title to the vehicle. So the DMV is not there to arbitrate claims of ownership, because if they just went by what somebody came in and said verbally, then nobody's car would be safe. They have to go by what's on the title record. If you have some separate agreement for that vehicle with another person, you need to get it in writing, because you're not going to be able to go into the DMV and say, hey, I paid all the payments on this car, I paid the insurance, I paid to fix it, so take it out of Joe's name and put it in my name. The DMV is not allowed to make that decision, because if they could, then somebody could do that to you too. If you had a car you owned, it was in your name, somebody could just make up a story. So they have to go by what's on the title. If you have some kind of ownership claim that can't be resolved by the DMV, of course you can always go to court and have a judge decide. If a judge gives an order to the DMV to change the title, then they have to do it. So if you're in a situation where you paid for a vehicle, paid the payments on it, paid insurance on it, and it's not in your name, do whatever you can to get that title switched over to your name as quickly as possible. The longer you wait, usually the harder it is to do. Get the lien release from the bank, get the owner to sign, paper to transfer the ownership to you, because the DMV title record is usually what is taken as gospel of who owns that vehicle. That's what the title's for. The title is to show who is the owner of the vehicle. If something happened after that vehicle was purchased, somebody else made payments, somebody else invested in repairs, that's great, but the DMV cannot take your word for it. They can't even take copies of canceled checks. They can't take copies of repair bills. They can't take copies proving you paid the insurance. Even if two names are on the title, if the names are joined by the word and, Joe Schmo and Sally Smith, they can't take another person's name off on the word of one of the two. Both people have to sign to take off the name of one of the parties. So vehicle ownership information, it's a very common question, common enough where this newspaper had a question to come to their legal department, Legal Matters. Does the car belong to the one with the title, or who pays for it? And it'll say in the article where if you do have a claim, you may be able to go to court to resolve it. But in most cases, the DMV is going to go by the name on the title, not on the name that is claiming they own the title. Now, there may be other title methods. You can look on our website at cartitles.com to look at things like a bonded title or a magistrate title that might be able to get the car in your name, even if your name is not on the title record.